With kids back at school, days becoming shorter, and that lovely feeling of wintry depression starting to wash over me, it's fair to say that summer has come to an end. But wait, what happened to that Rocksmith Plus Summer 2021 release window? Well, you know what they say, when one door closes, another window opens. Except this time the window is a big fat delayed to 2022. If you already knew about this, you may have just seen this pretty short post on the Ubisoft news site, but Arthur von Nagel, the lead producer on Rocksmith Plus, posted a pretty detailed dev diary on the Rocksmith site that goes into more detail on the whys and the hows. To sum it up, it looks like after collating the thousands of survey responses from beta players, they just decided to give it some more time in the oven. Not only to ensure a quality product for us to enjoy, but also to not push their own developers into crunch. And given that's a pretty hot topic in gaming lately, I think that's a commendable move. The last year must have been a real shock to the dev workflow, and the correct response wouldn't be to push people over the limit. As a big Rocksmith fan since the start, right up to the beta, of course I'm disappointed like a lot of you. But Rocksmith Plus will only get better with some much needed improvements, and Arthur outlines 4 main categories where those improvements will be made. First is the song library. The beta itself had around 500 songs, which to me was a pretty good amount, although I find his use of the word limited interesting here. Is it possible that 500 songs was a beta licensing cap from the music companies? But as content dropped in waves, I was pretty happy. My one concern may have been with the song selection actually in the beta, but Arthur saying more artists from highly suggested genres to meet player expectations, and that it's the single biggest factor, puts those concerns to rest. That said, it was fantastic to see some underappreciated artists and genres make it to the beta, especially ones never before seen in a rhythm game. As a bass player, I'm also happy to see them recognise the lack of bass in the beta. There were some great charts, but it was pretty hit and miss in terms of which songs actually had one. Something I hope they look to adding is similar to what Rocksmith 2014 had, where you could see what charts a song had regardless of the path you were in. In the beta, you had to swap your instrument to bass to actually see bass songs, and it sucked when a song with a slapping bass line you wanted to try ended up not appearing in the bass song list. The second category is about inputs and note detection, and oh my god, thank you. The detection for me was pretty hit or miss, and often landed on the miss side of things with a lot of chords being dropped, so any improvements they make here will add so much to the game. Chords allowing more give, better low bass detection, it's all going to be great. Arthur goes on to talk about audio interfaces, and that's really one area I had no issues with in the beta. I used a Focusrite 2i2, and aside from some initial pre-update connection UI issues, it was working pretty flawlessly. It would be unrealistic to expect them to be able to test every single interface out there, but it sounds like they may actually be trying to do that by sending devices out to the team's homes. The third category is progression and education, and in general this is just an important area to focus on. The skills profile feature, which normally would track and show your skill with various techniques in the game, sounds useful, and it was a shame it bugged out in the beta. Seeing the maths breakdown of the new mastery level percentage is good too, as there were times when I was very confused by the 2 scores at the end of a song. I generally push my songs to max difficulty from the start as well, so I'm really happy to see override to max is coming back. There'll be more lessons to start with too. This is an area I think Rocksmith Plus could really benefit from due to the live nature of the game. You could almost imagine the game becoming a virtual teacher of sorts, and if they get cracking on including those more advanced lessons and music theory videos, I'll definitely watch them. Hopefully the lessons section becomes a core part of the game in tandem with the live growing song library. The last category is incredibly important, and it's a huge sigh of relief to see outlined. While I like the overall look of the beta, it definitely lacked in terms of speed, filters, and immediate information available. In some areas, I'd even say it was a noticeable step backwards from Rocksmith 2014. We'll have to wait and see what these changes look like, but with search filters and a Rocksmith 2014 style list view, I'm optimistic. I haven't gone into everything here, so I recommend you read the full thing, link in the description. While it's definitely a necessary, albeit disappointing delay, I have the confidence in the team that this is the right thing for them, and ultimately for us. Miyamoto once said, "A delayed game is eventually good, a bad game is bad forever." Clearly, he didn't foresee the likes of Cyberpunk 2077, but I don't think Rocksmith Plus will end up like that. Oh god, what if it does? Anyway, Good luck to the entire Rocksmith team, and let's hope that new 2022 window will be an early one. How does January 1st sound?